Hey folks, welcome back to another Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at X-Men Dice Throne, which is brought to you by Dice Throne and the Op. It's for 2 to 6 players ages 8 and up, and games generally run about 20 to 40 minutes. In X-Men Dice Throne, you become one of 9 innovative and thematic heroes. Every Marvel Dice Throne hero was painstakingly designed and balanced to provide the most thematic experience possible, allowing you to truly embody your favorite heroes like no other game. Featuring all new mechanics and asymmetric designs, these are some of the most innovative and exciting heroes yet. Activate abilities by rolling your hero's unique set of 5 dice. Accumulate combat points and spin them on cards that have a large range of effects, such as granting permanent hero upgrades, applying status effects, and manipulating dice directly. Yours, your teammates, or even your opponents. So join me in this new series as we take a dive into each new character. This episode, we are headed into the Eye of the Storm. Storm's complexity is level 4. Her weapon of choice, of course, is weather phenomena. As one of the most revered X-Men, Aurora Monroe calls forth all manner of weather to aid her teammates and to upset enemies. From her command of lightning to the very wind itself, Storm soars above all that she surveys. A storm is gathering, fear its fury. So as you can imagine, all of Storm's abilities and powers are super thematic to who she is and what she does. Very weather driven. Her dice are going to have wind, rain, and cyclones. Now, let's start with her token abilities because they play into so much of what she's doing with her main abilities. So first and foremost, we have lightning, which charges almost all of her abilities. You'll see a little lightning bolt in the corner of the abilities that can be affected, and there's various effects from having a charged lightning bolt. So when you gather lightning, you can place it on any one of those different types of abilities and then use it when you activate that ability to get that extra benefit, that bonus. But if you ever put a second lightning bolt on one of those powers, it immediately triggers and fires off 2 undefendable or unstoppable damage to whatever opponent you choose. Next up, we have tornadoes. Now, tornadoes are fantastic. When you gather these tokens, you just put it on Storm, and when you activate or use one of these at the start of your offensive phase, you can start to steal dice. Well, not steal dice, but you can borrow and use dice of your opponent in your rolls, so helping you get those larger straights that you might be after. And she has some really nice powers around those straights as well. So that is amazing, allowing you to gather those. And there's a card even that allows you to gather all of their dice based on having 3 of those tornado tokens. Really fantastic. And then finally, you have wind shear. And this is a bit of a defense and attack in the same breath. And what it's going to do is redirect. Wind shear, right? It's going to redirect 2 damage and bounce it back to the opponent. And again, this is undefendable damage. So it really plays into all of her abilities and what she's doing. These tokens, definitely, you want to use them frequently against all her powers because those charged abilities with lightning really play into what she can do. So Storm's big ultimate ability is called Tempest. What a perfect name. So first and foremost, she's going to get 2 of those tornado tokens and a wind shear token doing 12 points of undefendable damage. But if it's charged with a lightning bolt, you're going to get 2 more of those tornado tokens and deal 2 more damage. So this is a super powerful ability using those cyclones, the number 6 ability on those dice. Now Storm's lightning field ability, you'll probably use it quite frequently because it relies heavily on the wind face of the dice. And based on how many of those that you get will determine how much damage you're doing. Now, it is defendable damage, but if it's charged, you just get to do some additional 3 points of damage. So charging all of these abilities is really key, obviously, throughout the course of the game. And then we have Light It Up. And the neat thing about Light It Up is that you're looking for wind, rain, and a cyclone in order to activate this. But then you get to roll 5 dice to see the results and gather all the different tokens you might need. Lightning, the wind shear, and the tornado are all things you can gain off of this ability. Next up, we have Thunderstorm. This one I really like. I used quite a bit in my plays. And you're going to be using wind and rain, obviously, for Thunderstorm. And you're going to be able to get 2 lightning bolts from this, do 7 points of defendable damage. But if it's charged, you're going to get 2 tornadoes out of it as well. Those tornadoes really come into play as you can get the dice from the other players, like I said before. Then we have Opposites Attract, looking for wind and cyclones. This one is great too because immediately you're going to get 3 tornadoes and you're going to be able to roll 2 dice to see how much damage you're going to do against your opponent. Now again, it is defendable, but if you have it charged, you have the ability to re-roll those values when you attack your fellow players. And then we have Gust, which is going to be using your small and large straights. So for the small straight, you're going to be getting a wind shear token and then do 6 points of defendable damage. And if it's charged, you're going to get a tornado. But for the large straight, you're still going to get that wind shear token. And you're going to do 8 points of defendable damage, but you're going to get 2 tornadoes if it's charged. And then we have Blizzard, which is one of my favorites. You're looking for 4 cyclones. You're going to get 3 tornadoes out of this ability, and you're going to do 8 points of damage. But if it's charged, which I always try to do, and make sure this one is charged all the time, because then that 8 points becomes undefendable. Super, super powerful. And then we have Maelstrom, which is looking for the largest straight, looking for 6 dice. So obviously here you would have had to use one of your tornado tokens to borrow dice from a fellow player trying to achieve this goal. And if you use multiple tornado, you could have a lot of options around getting this straight. It's going to do 10 points of defendable damage, but you get 4 lightning tokens. You have to put them on different abilities, but it does allow you to put those out there. And if it's charged, then you're going to get 1 combat point and be able to draw a new card. Now Storm's defensive ability, I love the name, Tempestuous. She is going to be able to roll all her dice. And if you get 3 wind, you're going to get a tornado. For 2 rain, that's going to block 2 damage. And for every cyclone you roll, you're going to get a lightning bolt to charge up the different abilities. So lots of neat things that can happen here. And remembering when you place those lightning bolts, whenever they double up on a spot, then you immediately get to do those 2 points of damage at someone, which are undefendable. So this defense really plays into a lot of what you're going to need maybe for future rounds. Now, Storm can upgrade 5 of her standard abilities, and all of these cards, each upgrade will cost you 2 combat points. Again, like with Wolverine, you'll pay the cost and put these into play just laying over the standard ability. So the ones we have is Lighted Up 2, we have Thunderstorm Tomb, which adds a static ability, and then we've got Opposites Attract, which adds a Forceful ability. Usually those are just going to give you tokens and some unstoppable damage. But then we have Gust 2, which just again increases how much damage you're doing. But my favorite again is Blizzard 2, which adds a Drizzle. And Drizzle is just going to give you tornadoes or lightning, but Blizzard 2 turns all the damage into unstoppable. Again, Blizzard is just got to be my favorite ability of Storm's. Then for Storm's standard cards, some really nice ones here. Probably my favorite of the bunch is the Super Tornado, because this is the one I talked about before, where you can spend 3 of her tornado tokens to gather all of your opponent's dice and use those in your rolls when you're attacking. Fantastic. You've got Tsunami, you've got Lightning Strike, and just a ton of these cards playing into and augmenting her abilities as she attacks and so forth. Just again, super thematic to Storm. All these weather effects really felt like it was just something you are bringing down on your opponents. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen has been in prototype form, so keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, this was just a closer look at Storm, and I've always liked her as a character for sure in the comics and so forth, but what really struck me about her is that you just feel super powerful with her abilities, raining down everything on your opponents. It really felt that way as you're engaging, and again, I can't say enough about Blizzard. Just my favorite ability. I tried to get it every time. So playing into all those different weather effects, very thematic to who she is and her powers. So if you like this look at Storm, make sure you come back and check out our other episodes around all the other characters. And the first episode, again, going back to Wolverine, check that one out. Definitely one of my all-time favorite Marvel characters. But if you like Storm and you like her abilities, I think you're really going to like this character. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.